I'm a big fan of yours and I really enjoy the show. My favorite wrestler of all time is Bret Hart. I've always felt one of the Hitman's best matches was against Davey Boy Smith at the In Your House, for which you were right at ringside.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you, what are your memories of that match? It had a little bit of everything, with the Hart family drama, the WWF title, and Hart bleeding quite a bit, and you were right in the middle of it.
Well, that was the best match. Probably. I mean, I wasn't managing Davey when he wrestled Owen. So that was probably the best match that Davey Bulldog had during the time that I was with him. And I loved it because especially, I can't remember if it was before or after that just abysmal British Bulldog Kevin Nash WWF title match. Was that? I'm trying to remember in time frame, but it went from the outhouse to the penthouse or the penthouse to the outhouse or whatever, because I managed Davey against Kevin Nash in the absolute worst. The one that I apologized to Vince McMahon for. Afterwards, I said, Vince, I'm sorry about that match. He said, what do you mean? I said, I apologize for being a part of that's the worst major world championship match I've ever seen on a fucking pay-per-view, and I was in it, and I apologize for it. I don't know whether it was that Davey didn't want to, because I was office, so they weren't going to tell me, but I don't know if Davey didn't want to work with him. I don't know if he didn't want to work with Davey. I don't know if neither one of them wanted to work with each other. I don't know if Nash knew how to work with Davey or because Nash couldn't do any of Davey's shit at all, that Davey just said, fuck it, I'm just going to do his shit, which was almost none. Remember, that's the one people tweet that clip out where Davey had been working Nash's leg, because at least that makes sense on the big tall guy, right? But he throws him out on the floor, and I flatten him out and drop a fucking elbow on the leg. He got the biggest pop of the match. And that's a shame for a WWF championship match. Go back and watch it. That was at one of the In Your Houses. And I want to say that it was only a couple of months removed from the match with Bret and Owen, or Bret and Davey. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but that was incredible. You had two guys that really could go, especially when Davey was motivated. Bret was always motivated and could go. Davey could go when he was motivated. They knew each other well. They trusted each other. They'd been around each other forever, so they knew each other's shit and they could communicate well. If Bret had a vested interest in doing the old world champion thing and making Davey look like he really was the better guy in the territory or whatever the fuck, even though he was the heel, and then, snagging it by the skin of his teeth. Davey wanted to impress Bret because everybody in the family kind of looked up to Bret at that point. It was perfect. And I was just glad to be in the middle of it, because I wasn't embarrassed to be out there. It was like one of some of those, like Yokozuna versus Earthquake John Tenta in the sumo matches, where I was like, oh God, is this what it's come to for me? Is this what's become of Rico? But no, and plus, and Bret, used the blade, even though he wasn't supposed to, because he knew that would really, just what the question said, that really kicked it up a notch and made it memorable. And he went into the steps, bam, and fucking hit those things and come up bleeding from a cut up above the hairline. Well, that never happens with a blade. And Vince asked him about it afterwards. He said, it was a hard way, and Vince didn't pursue it. And yeah, he got juice. He should have. And it was called for. And it was amongst family members. And it led to everybody being in a stronger position and hopefully doing better business. So yes, of course, he should have got juice. And he did.
Same thing happened at WrestleMania 8 in the match with Piper. Excellent match. One of my very favorite of all time. Bret gets juice by the hairline, tells Vince it's hard way. Vince says, okay. And then Flair goes out there and cuts his head off. And apparently Vince just went off on Flair after the match.